As usual, there are always wonderful opportunities for investments which would benefit from the crowd being wrong. One of the all-time great contrarian investors is Sam Zell. Sam Zell is affectionately called the grave dancer because he has amassed a multi-billion-dollar fortune buying hard assets from distressed buyers when others were chasing the latest investment fad. Recently on Bloomberg TV, Zell compared buying real estate assets in the disarray of the bank and savings and loan crisis of the early 1990s to buying oil properties today. In that interview, he said, where in real estate you had empty buildings all over the place and few investors had cash to play, these oil properties look like that now. Most investors consider what Zell does as very risky. He provides ownership capital to projects in distress. Warren Buffett has described this process by saying, what the wise man does at the beginning, the fool does at the end. Zell attempts to get in somewhere around the bottom when it appears that worthy income-producing property is being left for dead, hence the nickname, the grave dancer. So, let's take a look. Lately, Sam Zell has been buying the income streams of oil properties in Colorado, California, and Texas. He said oil companies are mitigating their downside risk by obtaining capital from Zell and in return giving him incredible attractive terms. He points out the void in capital available to the energy industry, specifically oil. As you can see by this chart from Bloomberg, the void has resulted from the fact that investors are staying away from energy investments and chasing after other hot investments. Energy investments have not been this oversold since the early 2000s and just before the dot-com bubble in the year 2000. Subsequent to those two lows, energy sector investments had a strong rally into 2008. At that point, the sector has declined, but once again is near the 30-year lows. If you have been paying attention to the business news, you would know that Berkshire Hathaway has entered the energy sector by committing $10 billion to help Occidental's bid for Anadarko Petroleum back in April of 2019. More recently, Berkshire has bought Occidental stock and now reportedly owns nearly 7.5 million shares. Maybe Warren Buffett is also a grave dancer. Speaking of billionaires and Occidental, don't forget Carl Icahn, shown here on the right. Icahn has been making efforts to replace Occidental Petroleum's entire board by submitting nominations for as many as 14 directors. Icahn happens to own a stake in Occidental valued at about $1 billion and has been a vocal critic of the company and the chief executive officer in particular. Icahn is not happy with the $37 billion takeover of Anadarko Petroleum Corp. He also attacked the expensive $10 billion financing the company obtained from Warren Buffett to get the deal done. Reportedly, Occidental's stock has slumped about 43% since its interest in Anadarko was first reported in April of 2019, and the company has been one of the worst performers in the S&P 500 index in 2019. One may ask why these titans are on opposite sides of the argument. Well, Icahn's activism usually results in decisions made by existing management that is in agreement with his wishes. But for Occidental to buy Anadarko, that was not Icahn's wish. Perhaps I'm biased, but Sam Zell and Berkshire seem to be more unemotional about the circumstances and appear to recognize that the assets in the ground are worth dramatically more than the stock market is giving companies credit for. Buffett and business partner Charlie Munger probably believe that exchanging massively overpriced debt for seriously undervalued oil assets was wise on Occidental's part. Others would consider most of Zell's investments as extremely dangerous because he's buying depressed assets which might not bounce back immediately. But, as Buffett has said, you pay a high price for a cheery consensus. Perhaps Icon's despair is helping to create an even bigger bargain than normal in an arena that the grave dancer has decided to do the tango. But stay tuned, as I believe the energy sector may be ripe for value investing, and coming soon will be some stock picks. So for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.